So we were just talking, and the first question I asked you is, do you miss it? And you gave me a very good answer, so I figured we might as well get it on camera. Do you miss being right behind you in that dugout?
Well, yeah, that's I've spent 50 years in baseball, and the game is on the field. It's not in the stands. It's not at home watching TV. It's doing what you love to do, and that's being part of a game. And so it's the 7:05 to 7:10 to 10:10 or whatever time that game is over. That's the part I miss.
If you take a look at this weekend, and this weekend is somewhat a microcosm of this season. It's just been so many roller coasters up and down. And over the years, speaking to athletes, it's always they talk about never getting too high, never getting too low. As a manager, how would you manage today's game? Because that was a very emotional win. Come back, a really important game against the Cardinals. How do you keep a team even-keeled, an inning at a time?
Well, this is what you play for, September. This is and being an independent race in September. You know, every guy that puts that uniform on wants to be a part of this. It's easier to come to the ballpark. You're not as tired as you think you are because there's adrenaline, and you ride the adrenaline. That's why, you know, you talk about at the end of the teams that have gone to the World Series, and next year sometimes you get off to slow starts because when that adrenaline finally leaves your body, you're sapped for a while, but you ride that energy for a long time in September.
And that energy, I mean, I don't know if we would have seen what we saw yesterday in April, you know, with you know, Stanton and the benches coming out. Is that a product of both teams being in a pennant race? Some weeks they've been dead on, some weeks all of a sudden it looks like they're out of the race.
Yeah, there's no question, and this is why that you like we started out the conversation. Hey, you can't get too high when you're going good, and you can't get too down when you're going bad, because everybody's going to have a losing streak. I don't care who you are. There's going to be times when you just can't win a game, and then there's other times, no matter what you do, it works. So you just got to maintain and come out every night, play as hard as you can, tip your hat when the game is over, say I'll see you tomorrow, and get ready for tomorrow's game.
One of the things you and I have spoken about over the years, over and over again, and now it's as bad as it was then, I believe it's even worse now. Analytics. How much does analytics, in some respects, take the emotion out of a player's game?
Well, I finished up where they were just when analytics just were really starting to take hold, and I think they're a good coaching tool, but I don't think they're an answer to everything. Yeah, I'm sorry. The game is played by humans, and you know, sometimes you can get too much information. You know, you gotta keep things simple when you're out there playing, because it's a hard game, and the more difficult you make it and the more complex you make it, the harder it is to play. So I think, you know, there's information you can have to help you, but I don't think you can go up to home plate saying, hey, a 30% chance of getting this, a 30% chance of getting that. You got to go up there with a game plan, and you got to stick with it in order to be successful.
So for young managers like that don't have the cachet in the bank, such as yourself or maybe a Tony La Russa, you know, have been around the game long enough, and in some respects don't. I mean, you always have to answer to management, but you know, your track record alone would say, okay, I did this because. For a young manager, is it somewhat burdensome that they give you all this information, expecting you to use it to make that gut decision?
Well, you know, look where managers are coming from today. How many of them? I mean, Louis is probably the perfect one example. You know, he managed a long time in the minor leagues, but a lot of guys today, they don't even go to the minor leagues. They go right to the big leagues, and therefore they're dealt this hand of, hey, here's all the information you're going to use and need, and you know, and there's going to be outside influences who are going to dictate how you're going to run your game. But you know, and that's where the game is today. And I said it when I managed. You either adjust to the way the game's being played today, or you got to get out of it. So new managers today, they've adjusted to the system, and sometimes it works. But I will tell you what, it's still the teams with the best talent. Those are the teams that are going to win.
Lastly, you take a look at this team, a lot of the players you've managed, you know, right now, 3 games out of a wild card spot, not a lot of games to play, a couple of teams to jump over. What do you think of their chances?
It's tough. You know, this time of year is tough, especially when you got to jump over 4 or 5 teams. But hey, it's been done. Teams have done it in the past. Teams have lost at this time of year. And right now, all you got to do is get hot. You get hot and you win 6 in a row or 7 in a row, and you look up and you're a game back, and all of a sudden that final 3 games against the Braves means a lot.
Awesome. Thanks. So it's always
you bet.